So Somesh, have you ever wondered like why we generally tend to choose a particular place or a table whenever we go out to eat in a restaurant or a cafe? Or let's say why we tend to stick to our side of the bed while we sleep? So these are some of the patterns we generally don't observe in our day-to-day life. But if you look at it, you also have some patterns in your life that you follow.
Yeah, and now you pointed it out. When I came here, I chose this side of the sofa. So this is
Yes,
my kind of pattern. And
yes.
you talked about bed as well. So I also have a preferred side of the bed.
Mhm.
And have you watched Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
So in that series as well, Sheldon had his spot right on the right
Mhm.
side of the
Yeah.
sofa. So that's his pattern.
Yeah, and if we think on top of the surface, we feel like we are choosing our own decisions based on
Yeah.
our free will. But if we dig deep down into it, we'll see that there are some patterns ingrained into us from majorly from our childhood. And for example, those patterns will control whatever I choose. So it's not just free will, it's predetermined
Yeah.
choices that we have. So if let's say I'm going to a restaurant, I'll sit in a corner place because mentally I may feel safe while sitting there. So those some of the patterns that we have, and how those patterns affect our life. Based on that, I would also like to share a story with you. So some of us are people when in our school times get bullied a lot, or even for some time from a particular group. So वो एक ग्रुप होता है ना कि जो हमेशा
Mm-hmm.
मजाक बनाता है किसी एक बंदे का, and because of that that person has lived that bullying experience a lot, and that is getting ingrained into their mind as well. So
Yep.
when they grow in their adulthood, their thought patterns are controlled by that experience. So let's say for example, if they are passing by a particular group and they are laughing for their own reason, even then they may think that they might be laughing because of on them,
Mm-hmm.
because of some weakness that they have. And you know those thought patterns are actually controlled by those experiences
Yep.
which we generally don't observe.
Yeah, you rightly said. And you have talked about school and college. I would
Hmm.
like to highlight about our careers as well. So I have this friend who overworks a lot,
Hmm.
and I used to think that she enjoys her work. But
Hmm.
when I had a discussion with her, I understood that she is trying to impress her boss,
Hmm.
and that is her childhood pattern. So it might be possible that during her childhood, she never got emotional support or appreciation from her parents.
Hmm.
So she is seeking validation,
Yeah.
and she is rewriting her childhood story now and trying to fix it. And she is thinking her boss as a parent figure who will give the validation she never got from her parents.
Yeah.
And if we think deeper, it's like we think that we are seeking happiness, but
Hmm.
it's all we are seeking familiarity.
Yeah, that's a good point that you brought up. And that was on the, let's say, the career part of it that you have experienced or seen in someone's life. If we talk about the relationship part of it, let's say, when we have our own adulthood relationships, these patterns that we have in our childhood takes different form of expressions. And generally we call them the attachment styles that we
Mhm.
have. So broadly, if I say, there are four types of attachment styles that we speak of. So first one is the secure attachment style. These are the attachment styles. If someone has, let's say, a childhood where their parents have given them enough emotional support, then whenever they needed,
Yeah.
then they generally tend to form secure relationship with their partner in their adulthood as well. So this is one of the rarely seen
Mhm.
attachment styles that we have.
Mhm.
And yeah.
And I have also like read about this Harvard grant study. So
Mm-hmm.
in that they have analyzed childhood patterns, and they came to this conclusion that a child who had a secure attachment style will be more happier and more healthy compared to childs with higher IQs or higher
Oh,
successful career or higher wealth.
yeah, yeah. Thanks for bringing that. And then second type of attachment style is the anxious attachment style. So all of these will fall into insecure attachment style, whatever I will speak about. So anxious attachment style is generally formed when in our childhood we had a relationship with our parents where there was not always support from them.
Mhm.
Generally, it was like sometimes they were there, sometimes they were not available. So there was always this unpredictability
Yeah.
in our relationship with our parents, and because of that, the general thought processes a person forms is that we are not good enough.
Mhm.
And if with that thought process I go into a relationship, generally I will think low of myself and higher of my partner. And because of that, I'll always have that fear of rejection. And I don't know if you guys also observed in your life, maybe it's you or your partner, whenever they want that over validation, and they always want you to text them so that they can seek that validation, and if not fulfilled, they generally also tend to panic. So that's another attachment style that we form. The third one is the avoidant attachment style, and that's kind of on the other side of what I talked about here. The person in their childhood has got no care from the parents at all, and yeah, as a defense mechanism, they tend to form that general thought process that they are independent.
So talking about this style, it might be possible that child को physical care मिली हो, like parents are getting them all the toys and all the books. They are giving them good schooling, good clothes, but they are not available for the emotional support to the child when this kind of attachment style emerges. And in this style, child pushes whoever comes close to him. There are intimacy issues, and whenever someone comes too close to him, he thinks that he might be disappointed. He has very low expectations, so he thinks he might get hurt from the other partner.
Yeah, you already know about this type of relationship. You already have that type of attachment style, or that's why you know about it, or
I think I have seen few of my friends.
There's always friends to blame, right? Good. Then moving on. So the last attachment style that we have is the disorganized one, and that's like the extreme of both the ends that we talked about. So here, in a person's childhood, there's always an unpredictability, a confusion, and when they grow up, generally they have that thing, that general thought process is they want the love, but they also fear the love that they want. So there's always emotional confusion into their mind. So that's the disorganized one. That is another attachment style that we have.
Yeah, Ritesh. So I totally agree with you. And it's not about every person falls into each of these categories. It's always mix of these categories. Some persons will have more, some persons will have less of these categories. And I know that we have talked about free will, predetermined, then we have also touched base upon school, college, and career. So I understand that we all have these childhood patterns. So how do we break free from this? How do we make conscious choices? How do we understand that we are not making those predetermined decisions?
Yeah, I think so. First and foremost thing that we need to do is to be aware of our own patterns. So knowing the patterns is a different thing. Being aware of your own patterns is a totally different thing.
Yeah.
So I would say that we should first take out some time out of our busy life, even if we think this is not important, but actually important because it is controlling our rest of our life. So it's important to take that time out of our life to relive our childhood, even if it's a happy moment or sad moments, doesn't matter. And I would also like to point out to have an approach where you don't blame your parents, right?
Or closed ones.
Yeah, or the close ones or caregivers, whoever they were. Because generally the tendency is we generally think of our moments and we say, okay, my parents are here to blame. And if we blame them, then we are not improving, right?
Yep.
Agreed. So we should have a more compassionate approach in this.
Yeah, and it's not only about the family or the parent we had during our childhood. It also how a child interprets whatever the actions or reactions of our parents and families were.
Yeah, that's another layer that you have brought about. So once we are aware of whatever patterns that are formed by reliving our childhood, we should also understand that we can't go into the past and fix it, right?
Yes.
What we only have is today.
Yep.
We can only relive those moments today and see what we needed the most at those times, and give those things what we needed to our inner child, which is still there inside us. And I think that will actually help us breaking our patterns and make more move towards our free will than to those predetermined patterns.
And make conscious choices.
Yeah.
So I think, Ritesh, this was a good discussion, and let's go back to our day-to-day life and relive our childhood memories, whether it is happy or sad.
Yeah, let's go. Hello, friends. Hope you liked the discussion today. And if you liked it, please hit that like button and do subscribe our channel for more such insightful discussions in future.
Yep, and we hope that you also take some time to identify those childhood patterns and memories. And if you do so, feel free to write them in the comment section.
Yeah.